The title of my talk today is Upside Down and Back Again. There we go. Thank you, Barbara Shane, for that image you put up there. So let's just start with the end of that song. Is this the way it's supposed to be? Well, yes. Upside down. How many of you have ever had a point in your life where your life was turned upside down? Has anybody made it through this whole life of yours and nothing ever turned you upside down? No, because you know what? It's supposed to. What do you think the purpose is for you to be turned upside down? All of the above. Where God is, I am. And God is also upside down, not just right side up. I mean, it's just the way it goes. That's why I wanted to sing Rolling River God. Those rocks are important. Those things that we stumble over are important. It's all what life has to offer us, right? So I want to turn this whole thing upside down. So as I was preparing for this week, knowing what the title was, I had a very interesting thing happen yesterday. Yesterday was March 10th, and I didn't know. I hadn't registered what day it was. It was my brother's birthday yesterday, but that wasn't it. Although if you're not watching. So, but I'll say happy birthday to my brother Tommy, and then I'll make him watch. So there you go. So I saw something on Facebook yesterday, and a very good friend of ours who used to come to our center, they now live in Palm Springs, Brian Miller and Gilmore Rizzo. So Brian has been undergoing chemo and going through his cancer treatments. And so I saw on Facebook yesterday, Gilmore put it up, that he was going through a really rough one this time with the chemo and the nausea. And I have experience with that nausea. So I called him, and we're on the phone talking, and he says, oh, no, it's actually going pretty well. And he said this to me. He said, here's the deal with this thing called cancer. He said, I've never been so grateful for my life in my whole life. And if anything turns your world upside down, it certainly is cancer. And so as we're talking, all of a sudden, I was like, oh my God. I said, what's today's date? He said, March 10th. 8 years ago, on March 10th, I sat in a doctor's office and was told I had stage 4 cancer and that I would be gone by August. That was March 10th. He said, I'll give you to August if something doesn't happen. I was like, well, what's going to happen? He said, if something's going to happen. And, I've said this many times, my next response in my joking way, because it just didn't seem plausible, was, what's stage 5? He did not find that funny. And then he said, you won't remember anything I'm going to say now, so we're going to cut this short and we'll talk tomorrow. And I was like, no, I'll remember everything. And I remembered a little bit, frankly. So I'm on the call with Brian yesterday, and I suddenly remembered it, and I was like, oh my God, this is my talk, upside down and back again. How many times are you put through the ringer? No, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. How many times do you put yourself through the ringer and then you have to unring yourself? Think about it. And you have to literally bring yourself back again because it's all up to you. The world doesn't put us through a ringer. The world doesn't do anything to us. We choose to create the lives we choose. Even when it comes for me, something like, because people say, really, you want to say that you created cancer? I'm like, I didn't create cancer, but I certainly am responsible for being equal to it showing up as an experience in my life. It's what we teach. No, I don't blame myself. I don't say, yeah, I created cancer. How did I do that? I don't go there. This is not a witch hunt. But it is a very solid philosophy that lets you know if you have created something and if something shows up in your life and you are equal to it, you have everything you need to turn it back, to bring it back again to its perfect and divine state. And I stand here before you 8 years later, having turned that all around. And here's the deal, was it a fun time? No, it was not a fun time. But as Brian said, it really does make you really appreciate every single thing for a couple of years till you forget. And as Brian said that to me yesterday, I was like, oh my God, I've forgotten a little bit of that lesson. I forgot that, and it's Curiosity Month. You know, when I was in the midst of radiation and chemo, and by the way, everything stops. Who has gone through that? Anyone else gone through that? Okay, a few of you have gone through that. So everything stops. When you are told you have stage 4 cancer, your world stops. And they tell you that. Stop. Stop everything. I luckily had an amazing church around me, the vice president of my board, who's sitting right there at that time, who just said, go away, deal with yourself, and we're fine. But everything stops. And all of a sudden you realize that you can stop everything. I hate to tell you all this. You can stop everything and the world will go on. How many of you have that feeling? How many of you have that lovely characteristic of life where you are absolutely certain that only you can do what you do? And I know you do, Kevin. It's my husband's greatest feature. Only you can do what you do, and if you don't do it, it will not get done, the earth will end, time as we know it is over. It's not true. It's just not true. When they say stop, your life now is about healing. Your life now is about health. I was like, but who's gonna, who cares? It all got done. Everybody was fine. And the interesting thing was, I still came to church. I only missed one Sunday in that whole time. And I just kept getting thinner and thinner and thinner. But the church kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And for a while, I was like, is this just a lot of people wanting to come see the cancer guy? I was like, why are we growing the church while I am in absence? Perhaps I don't need to be in control as much as I think I do. I will now think about that message. So the world keeps spinning, and there's no time to waste. So this is Curiosity Month. Are you all working it? I want the rest of you, did you hear the deafening silence? Are you all working this idea about curiosity? I am. I'm also, who's doing mental muscle? Raise your hand if you're doing mental muscle. There you go. So mental muscle was supposed to only be 30 people. It's 38 people. We forgot to take it offline, and people bought it without us when we hadn't closed it down. But it's fine. 38 people, it's great. My word, along with curiosity, which is not my word, really is moving my life. It really is. You know, we pick a word in mental muscle at the top of the program, and we live that word the entire 16 weeks. So curiosity is something that, it's not just a noun, it's a verb, and it's the thing in you that drives you. But it's so easy to become not curious. It's so easy to get stuck in a rut and not be curious about your life anymore. Or think you know what your life is, which I said last week. So I love that we got to sing this song today, because the truth is, if you are curious, and if you are activating curiosity inside of you, you should be turning your world upside down. No one should be sitting here flatlining and just letting their life, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, well, it's all good. I'm comfortable. I'm really comfortable. Nothing's changing. Haven't seen anybody in years. But I'm good. Good. My house looks nice. I stay in it. It looks really good. So if that's you, I'm sure it's not. But if it's any version of you, turn it upside down. That's what we're here to do. If you think you got everything you want out of life already, someone said that to me this week. They said, I feel like I've gotten everything I ever wanted to get out of life. I said, all right, I'll start your funeral services now if you like. I did. I said, you want to start planning your memorial? It was this wonderful, sweet woman I don't think she's here today. And she was like, what do you mean plan my memorial? I said, well, you just said you were done. She says, no, I said, I got everything I wanted. I said, then why are you living? She goes, well, I want to just enjoy what I have. I said, I get that. And we should enjoy what we had. I said, but you know what? You are the unlimited nature energy of God. How could you possibly have everything you think you could possibly want? There's a belief in there somewhere that's saying, you need the belief that says, is that all there is? Not the belief that says, I'm good, everything's fine. And by the way, I'm not poo-pooing your life being good and everything fine. That's a beautiful place to start, being curious about what could it be besides this. That's what we're looking at. So I really want you to look at all 4 legs on your table, the table of life. Those 4 legs. Health. Are you as healthy as you could possibly be? Do you have the most incredible, exciting relationships in your life? I have to tell you, last night at that party, it was so cool to walk into the party. I think we were next to the last ones getting there. But we got to the party, and there is all of these people dressed up, almost all of these people dressed up as flappers and 1920s characters. And you walked in, and most of them were like playing characters. In fact, Kevin, he's going to show you later what he wore. He, at the end, I was in the shower. I come out of the shower. I'm in the bathroom, stark naked, and in walks these eyebrows and this costume. And he looked at me and he was like, "Hello." And I was like, "What?" I really was. He said, "Are you going with me?" I was like, "Yes, I'm trying to get done." And finally he just went, "I'm trying to act here." And then he doesn't let up. He's that way all the way on the drive, and I'm answering questions. He goes, "I don't know what accent you're using. I don't even know who you are." And I'm like, and then Suzanne Benoit gets in the car, and then the 2 of them start talking in these accents, and I was like, oh my God, what is this night going to be like? And when we walked in, he announced to everyone that he had arrived and brought his valet with him. Yeah. And then instructed me not to speak because the valets don't speak. And I was like, that ain't happening. So that was a bunch of people turning their worlds upside down last night and not just going for the same old normal, oh, let's just have a party and I'll just go and sit and drink and eat. No, it was like something new and exciting. You have that opportunity to do every single day when you wake up and decide to be curious about life. And more importantly, be curious about your life. Be curious about what you're doing for the day. You know, and if you hear yourself saying, well, it's kind of the same old day for me, mix it up. Figure out what to do. When you get to work, wear something crazy to work so that everybody has to go, what are you doing? And then you can tell them that you're crazy. So there's relationships. Then there's money, there's prosperity. Please mix that up as best you can. Don't get stuck in those ideas that your finances are where they are and that's where the plateau lands. No, there's an infinite abundance in the universe. It's yours to have at it. And then what I did health, I did relationships, I did money, creative expression. Are you curious about your creative expression? Our son starred in Guys and Dolls. He just opened on Friday. He's this weekend and next weekend. He's playing Sky Masterson. And so we went on Friday night, and we were really excited to go. And it's at Chaminade High School, so it's they have this amazing stage with sets, and it's gorgeous. So we're sitting there, and Will somehow made his entrance and started his scene before I recognized him. He came out and he goes, Nathan Detroit. And he had this accent. And I'm looking and I was like, that's Will. And Kevin's like, uh-huh. Because he had transformed himself. He literally, this accent, I don't know where he got it, but he kept it the entire show. It never let up. He was in that character the entire show. And he did a brilliant job. So you have creative expression inside of you that wants to get out and maybe telling you the most bizarre things to try. Listen to it. Because I sat there watching him, and he looks so much like me, especially when he dresses up like back in the 20s when I was born. He had the outfit on, and he had his hair slicked back, and I was like, it just looks so much like me when I was in 42nd Street. And there was a part of me that was like, don't you miss getting out there in front of the crowd 8 times a week and getting in costumes? And I thought back to 42nd Street when I couldn't wait to get out of it. Halfway through, I was like, this contract has to end. And yet, looking back on it, I realized I wasn't really curious enough about what was going on around me. I mean, I was making a ton of money. I had amazing friends and people all around me. I had a personal valet who dressed me, because there were moments in the show where you literally went off stage, do this, and they'd strip you and put another costume back on, because there were 3 3 tuxedo changes in the middle of a song called Dames. I would sing it, walk off, boom, now I'm in a black tuxedo, walk off, now I'm in a red tuxedo. It was unbelievable. And I looked back on that and I went, is there something in me that would still like to do that? Yes, there is. There's something in me that still feels there will be a Broadway show with my name on it, and they'll give me Sundays off to fly home. Why not? But that's what I'm talking about, the curiosity. Don't think that because maybe you're a certain age or you moved beyond it, or, well, people like me don't do that. Don't go there. No, you're God. You are the expression of God that can do anything, anywhere, anytime, no matter what. How does that sound? So, good. So, I'm going to focus a little bit today on the health side of that table. Because yesterday, I was listening to Deepak Chopra, and he did this beautiful video on health and the body and what's going on in our bodies. And he said curious. He said curiosity. He says, most of us have lost curiosity about our bodies. We've lost the curiosity when it comes to health. We're only curious about what disease is coming our way. We're only interested in how old am I getting. We're curious about how long it's going to take before I won't be able to get up in a quick move. I mean, and I'm listening to him going, yeah, that is so true. So curiosity about the ability you have inside to stay. Reverend Nancy, I know you don't mind telling everybody how old you are. You are?
Next month I'll be
85. This woman jumps around, she dances, she has more energy than some people I know in their 30s. And that's because she knows who she is. And she's curious about it. She's curious about everything. I get 10 emails a week from her about, here's what we could do here. What if we do this? I think if we did this, it'd be cool. That's curiosity. So here's Deepak's, one of his quotes. I make time every day to play and explore, approaching new experiences with the curiosity and openness of a child. He says in his little talk, he says, in order to have energy, you have to be curious. That's where energy comes from. If you're curious, there's an energy inside of you. And not just curious about thoughts, things you know, curious about feelings. What's this feeling? How often do we feel things and instantly go to, let's get rid of that feeling, that's an awkward feeling. Be awkward. How many of you are awkward in life sometimes? I love that. Dell's like, I am. Right, so be awkward. Why are we so afraid to show our awkwardness? And makes it feel uncomfortable that we're awkward. Be awkward. Fall down. Jerry Lewis made a career out of it, right? So just be willing to feel what you feel and explore it. Be curious about it. See where it takes you. He says this about meditation. Because meditation, he had a great talk on meditation yesterday that I listened to, which was, a lot of us, I think we get meditation backwards, or we think we have to do something in meditation, when in fact, it really is. Meditation is to release everything from your mind. And it was a video with him and Oprah. And Oprah's going, well, what do you do with the cats that are coming through? And what are you doing with the sounds outside and everything? And he's like, she said, you get those away, right? That's your job in meditation, to just push those away. He went, no, don't push anything away. Don't get into a struggle with anything. Just let it go by. It'll go by. Let it go by. Be the observer. Let it go by. And I thought about it, and I was like, forget not just meditation, life. I just felt like Lauren Bacall. Life! I haven't felt like Lauren Bacall yet in my world, so I'm curious. What does that feel like? What would it be to be Lauren Bacall? What did you say? Poor Kevin. My Humphrey Bogart. So, where was I? Life. So, back to life. So there is that thing in you that is actually suggesting to you that you go a little further, go a little faster, go a little deeper. Not be afraid to be awkward, not be afraid to be crazy. I loved every person in that room last night was insane. Everyone was crazy. And when you see what they wore, I mean, just amazing costumes. And then having fun with those costumes. And it was a murder mystery dinner that Sean and Rebecca threw, and it was amazing. But it was a murder mystery dinner. And all night, the clues coming in, we thought Kevin and me and Eric, we knew who the murderer was. So much so, when I wrote it down, guys, I didn't even bother. I just said, here are the clues, here's the murderer, we're done. And he went, you're supposed to? I said, nah, we're good, we know who it is. I said, you see that we got it. We were so wrong. We were like in another country, right? So, okay, self-care, meditation. I prioritize self-care by meditating regularly, allowing myself to rest in the sacred space of silent connection so I can be calm and centered. I'm going to suggest this week that you start every day with some kind of meditation. A soft meditation, 2 minutes. Stay in bed, close your eyes. If you're in mental muscle, you're also doing journaling in the morning. So just meditate right before you journal. Or journal and then meditate, whatever way you want to do it. But take some time. And then throughout the day, take that concept of meditation into your life. As things are going on, realize they're just coming through. They're just passing through. Don't ever give up you for that. Don't ever give up on you because that's happening. Because this is not real. This is the truth. And then, here's one that I'm really going to have to pay attention to. Sleep. Sleep. How many people here get at least 8 hours of sleep a night? I hate you all. So that was only half of the room, not even half of the room. And I can't raise my hand to that because I feel like 6 hours is a good night for me of sleep. And yet, what he's saying is, he says, deep, revitalizing, undisturbed sleep. Deep, revitalizing, undisturbed sleep. And you know what he says? And I know you're going to love this. And I know now you're going to think about sleeping better because he says, the more sleep you get, the younger you will look. It will save you on your Botox bills. The more sleep you get, the younger you will look, the younger you will feel, and the younger your organs will remain. Because think about it, there's 24 hours in a day. If I'm only getting 6 hours sleep, I am taxing my organs 18 hours a day. I could definitely move that back and relax. He also talks about eating at the right time. And when it comes to food, he says, and I love this quote, we can literally ingest the information of the universe into our biology if we would eat its purest state. How many of you really spend the time paying attention to the food that's going into your body in terms of knowing it's whole foods, not processed? Yeah, okay, so that's good. There's like a third of you that are doing that. I do it in spurts, and then I forget. And then all of a sudden, I'm eating protein bars that are packaged, and they have stuff in them I shouldn't be eating. And I'm reading this, I'm listening to him talk, and then I went and read his article. It was amazing because I got curious. I was so curious about these vegetables that he's talking about and how you mix this with this. And I was like, this is what curiosity is all about. How many of us end up doing the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Because we're just kind of in that rut. This is what I eat. I'm an oatmeal guy in the morning. By lunch, I have a protein drink. I don't have time to really pay attention to lunch. And then dinner, sometime before 10 o'clock, before I go to bed. No. We get to be in charge of our lives and be curious enough to mix it up. So, upside down and back again. I'm going to tell you that probably right now, your life is upside down. On some level, in some area. Right, Karen Needle? Is that why you're laughing? Yeah. So your world is upside down. Find out where it's upside down. And once you find out that it's upside down, find out why it's upside down, what you feel about it, what it means to you, and then turn it right side up. And then look at the things you think you're right side up with. Turn them upside down. I mean, wouldn't this be a fun life to live if we're constantly moving things around and saying, you don't know me? Where are you? Is she here? Who said that? Connie. Where's Connie? No, Connie's right there. She heard it. You know why I just said that. Connie was in, can I say it? Yeah, Connie was in practitioner class, and we have a panel, a sexuality panel, and all the students have to sit up here, and the panel's over here. And so she gave her talk on something, and somebody told them what they got out of it, and she just went, you don't know me. And we were all like, Wow, Connie, that is like the most powerful you've been in this class tonight. And it's just our watchword now with her. But you know what? The world should be saying to you, I can't get a handle on you. Because there is no handle to get on you. You're not a pot of coffee. You're a divine individualization of God. I shouldn't be able to get your handle. You should be so smooth by that water's running around over you, so smoothing your edge that you are just this perfect, smooth, individualized expression of God, and no one knows what the hell you're going to do next. Wouldn't you like to live life that way? That's how we can live, but we have to decide to live life that way. Even if it's in your office and your boss thinks he knows who you are, go in tomorrow with a red wig. Do something so that the world is not saying, I know who you are, this is who you are. Because you're not. You're God, and God is everything, so have at it. Namaste.